our love. If this justice is waking.
Hey, what's up everybody? This is Austin Haynes with the Waking Justice Project, and this is your daily wake-up call. Here's what the corporatocracy is up to today, September 19th, 2019. You can visit our website at wakingjustice.org for more details. Here are the headlines. The United Auto Workers Union is now on strike at General Motors. It's the first workers' strike at the GM in over a decade. Here's why they voted to strike. Over the past 2.5 years, GM raked in over $25 billion in near-record profits. Along the way, GM shut down 5 major plants and laid off 22,000 workers, moving those jobs outside of the US to cheaper labor markets. GM's CEO gets a $22 million annual salary. That's almost 300 times more than the average union worker's wage. Union workers are on strike to demand fair wages, healthcare security, job security, and a share in those record profits they helped to create. You may remember, GM almost went bankrupt back in 2008, but US taxpayers stepped up with an $80 billion bailout package, saving hundreds of thousands of auto industry jobs. All that bailout money was supposed to be paid back, but in the end, US taxpayers lost over $10 billion, while GM shareholders and executives scored record profits. The United Auto Workers Union has a long history in standing up to corporate greed. It was the auto strikes in the 1930s that formed the UAW. They helped define the bargaining power of the American working class and win major reforms for all American workers. Back then, workers wanted big business to bargain in good faith with any union supported by the majority of employees. GM workers were demanding fair wages, better safety standards, and unemployment insurance. And when GM refused to bargain, workers called a sit-in strike, where workers just sat at their machines and refused to work. But GM executives paid off local police to force the strikers back to work. And when the workers refused, police tear-gassed the building to force the workers out. Public outrage at GM and solidarity with the workers on strike forced GM executives to the bargaining table. It set a mandate for big business to obey the National Labor Relations Act, which guarantees workers the right to organize unions, strikes, and engage in collective bargaining with employers. There's another major strike happening this week. It's the school strike for climate in New York, organized by 16-year-old Greta Thunberg. Greta is originally from Sweden. When she was 15, she began skipping school on Fridays to protest the Swedish Parliament's inaction on climate change. Her protests have gone international, with hundreds of thousands of students now participating from all over the world. The campaign has gotten great press, but not everyone is convinced the mass protests are effective. Some say the protests are just more talk with no real call to action to actually fix the system. Her critics do have a point, and that's why Greta and her whole family have gone vegan. She understands that meat and dairy production is a leading cause of climate change. As Greta says, we do need system change over individual change, but you cannot have one without the other. Pretty smart. In other news, the state of California just passed a bill that bans for-profit prisons from operating in the state. The ban includes immigrant detention centers operated by ICE. It's part of a broader fight in California against the ongoing mistreatment of immigrants and asylum seekers at ICE detention centers. As Lee Camp tweeted yesterday, the US has played a major role in creating these very crises that these refugees are fleeing. The least we can do is have some sympathy for them. We agree. It's why the Waking Justice Project has gotten involved with one such detainee, Ansuman Mbye. When Anseman first migrated to America, he worked day jobs while studying English at night school. His American dream was to become a chef and help folks improve their health. Like many day laborers, Ansuman was the victim of a predatory contractor. When Ansuman tried to cash his paycheck, he was arrested for felony forgery. It wasn't his fault, and for years, the case remained unresolved. Ansuman moved on and eventually realized his dream. He built a successful health food business that served food sourced from local farmers. He helped many people improve their health. He became a valued member of his community, beloved for his generous, humble, and caring spirit. But 14 months ago, when ICE raids were at their height, Ansuman was arrested by ICE and has been detained ever since. Without Ansuman there, his health food business soon went bankrupt. His young family lost all their income and are now destitute. Ansuman is Rastafari. He's a hard worker. He wants to be self-sufficient so he can help others in need. When our director Paul Berry heard about Anseman's story, he helped Ansuman hire a legal team to fight for his freedom. Ansuman's case is making slow but steady progress. We're extremely hopeful for his release. If you're able to make a donation to Ansuman's legal fund, we'd be grateful for any amount you can give. Ansuman wrote a beautiful recipe guide that we'll send you as a gift of gratitude for your support. Ansuman is the victim of a system of social control that cultivates racism and division to keep us divided against each other and against our own self-interest. Like so many of us in America today, Ansuman has awakened from an American dream that's turned into a nightmare of escalating injustice, corruption, and inequality. While imprisoned, Ansuman has stayed focused. His spirit is strong. As Ansuman says, we have to help people wake up to how all our body, mind, and spirit can be imprisoned by those who would profit from our oppression. We have to remind people that if we take back our health and rise up together, we can take back our freedom. That is what keeps me going, to keep me moving forward. To learn more about Anseman's story, or for more information about the other news in our program today, you can visit our website at wakingjustice.org. While you're there, please check out our About page and listen to our first podcast to learn how you can be a part of the Waking Justice Project. We hope you'll join us. Peace.
You must be involved in the struggle for freedom and justice.
If it's my love, if it's my justice is waking, justice is rising. Justice is waking, justice is rising. If it's my love, justice is rising. And it ain't just us, it's all of us. Justice is waking, justice is rising. And it ain't just us, it's all of us. If it's my love, may every soul unite. Tend the fire and let old coals relight. I'm a citizen of the world and we fight for the rights of everybody to live a truly free life. Red or yellow, black or white, left or right, gay or straight, human or animal, all life. Cause what matters is what is in common. If you know it, stand tall and keep dropping the knowledge. Justice is waking, justice is rising, and it ain't just us, it's all of us. If it's my love.